Nigeria's former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has pledged to rescue Nigeria from the current socio-economic challenges bedeviling it. He said his decision to contest in the race is part of his efforts to save Nigeria, which has become a sinking ship as a result of the collapse of many sectors of the nation's unity, economy, and security, a situation that has led to increased hardship and poverty for Nigerian citizens. Atiku made this known in Abuja this Wednesday when he officially declared his intention to contest for the 2023 presidential election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). He said his presidency would focus on 5 key areas, which include the unity of Nigeria, security, economy, education, and devolution of more powers to the federating units.
When Atiku done the rule, when PDP done the rule, oh, Nigeria go better. When PDP done the rule.
The APC administration has failed in its fundamental responsibility of protecting the lives and properties of Nigerians. The most significant human right is the right to life, which has not been protected under the current APC administration. Our military forces are fighting on the front lines without equipment and morale. That's not fair. If we get into power, we will increase the welfare of all security forces. We will use modern technology and intelligence to combat insecurity. We will also increase the number of personnel of our security agencies. Why security? Because national security is the first sign of a functional government. And why it does not exist, we must not blame those who threaten it. We can only blame a government that allows it to be threatened. And if I'm elected as their president, insecurity is one thing I will not tolerate. All the macroeconomic indicators are not favorable under this APC administration. APC inherited single-digit inflation. They now increase it to about 16%. When APC came into power, unemployment was around 9%. Now unemployment is more than 33%. The exchange rate was 197 naira to a dollar in 2015. But in the hands of APC, naira suffered the worst devaluation ever. As we speak, the official exchange rate is more than 400 naira to a dollar. That was not the change we wanted. They said we should go back to the farmlands. How can you ask people to go to the farms while you have not secured the farms? People cannot go back to the farm because they are afraid they could be kidnapped or killed. Under our leadership, we will ensure absolute security because that is the #1 condition for economic prosperity. Nigerians cannot afford to pay high petroleum prices. That is why we must ensure sufficient refining capacities within Nigeria. If we do that, petrol will be cheaper because it is locally produced. To provide an adequate and affordable electricity supply for every Nigerian, we will ensure sufficient investment in that sector. We will leverage renewable energies to power homes and commercial centers. And that is why we must provide opportunity for our people. When the citizens of any nation have the opportunity to progress at their own pace, they themselves will help make insecurity a thing of the past.
I go follow the man wey go stop the hunger. I go follow the movement wey go make Nigeria work again. I don't know the bullet, I don't know the bullet.
official declaration of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's bid to contest for the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2023 general elections has garnered mixed reactions from Nigerians. In this report, Clearview TV's Gloria Atta says some Nigerians have hailed the move of the former vice president to contest, while others are urging him to take a backseat in the race.
After several months of consultations with stakeholders across the country and in the diaspora, as well as organs of the People's Democratic Party, Nigeria's former vice president and presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019 election, Atiku Abubakar has officially declared his intent to run for the 2023 presidential election. Speaking at the ceremony of his formal declaration in Abuja, the former vice president said that his decision to contest was drawn from the fact that Nigeria needs an emphatic leader who can fix it following the collapse of many sectors of the nation's unity, economy and security.
I have received several calls and encouragements from you to contest again. I have listened to your brave voices. Beyond the words coming out of your mouths, I could imagine your frustrations, yet you are hopeful. I admire you greatly for choosing hope over despair. I have contested for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2 times in the past. My enduring persistence is born out of my passion to rekindle the Nigerian dream that I was privileged to live.
Since his entry into politics in 1993, Atiku Abubakar has unsuccessfully contested 5 times for the office of the President of Nigeria in 1993, 2007, 2011, 2015 and 2019. The news of his declaration has gathered mixed reactions from Nigerians. Some have lauded the move of the presidential hopeful, as they are certain that his years of experience are what Nigeria needs to move her to her next level. Some others, however, feel it is time for him to step aside for other prospective candidates to run.
He's one of the most experienced politicians in Nigeria, and also looking at his success in private sector, as well as the fact that he also a vice president. Therefore, he's not a newcomer. He is vastly aware of the happenings in the country. He has international connections, and constitutionally he has the right to contest. So, as a Nigerian, I don't think he has any problem.
It is his right to contest. Even if I say he shouldn't contest, will he stop? He will not stop. If he wants to contest, he should go ahead. But my opinion is that there is no single Nigerian who is a politician who wields the magic wand that will correct the ills in Nigeria. Nigerians will have to come together to correct the ills in this country.
Even though it is 10 times, it's no problem. That is how President Buhari keep on trying. He comes to his own tenure, and God help him, he succeed.
Atiku have decamped about like 3 or 4 times from ACN, APC to PDP. So I think they are all the same thing. So we need a different person.
The older generation should step aside and let younger people who are more in tune to the ongoing issues in the world to take power.
I don't think he has what we need right now. We need new ideas. We need something different. That's just it. We have been going around the same system for about how many years now, and we are seeing the result of that. So we need a new structure. I don't know if Atiku can provide that.
With former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's official declaration, the race has begun for other politicians, such as former Senate President Bukola Saraki, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, and ex-governor of Kano State Rabiu Kwankwaso, former Senate President and Secretary to the Government of the Federation Pius Ayin, and other stalwarts to tighten their fist in clinching the party's 2023 presidential ticket in the primary, which is expected to hold later this year. Gloria Atta reporting for Clearview Television.
And in his reaction, a PDP stalwart Kassim Afegbua said watching Atiku on television talking about the unity of the country, youth's involvement in his government, economic recovery and a whole lot of other issues invoked a sense of loss in him asking why old men always want to play on the sensibilities of the youths by declaring that they too are youths just to score cheap political mileage. According to Afegbua, they have used their own quota, they have used our own quota, and they want to use our children's quota also by declaring that they are youths at such an old age, all in the name of politics. Afegbua, in a statement made available to Clearview television, said Atiku has failed woefully to provide opposition and voice since 2019 after the elections, believing that in the last 7 years he ought to have led peaceful protests condemning the poor state of affairs in the country. He ought to have mobilized and sensitized Nigerians against the misrule of the All Progressives Congress (APC), instead of just waiting to throw his heart in the ring for what he referred to as Methuselah contest in 2023. Without mincing words, Kassim Afegbua said that Atiku's declaration to state the obvious is an act of political desperation. And still on the 2023 presidential election, stakeholders in the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) South-South Zone have risen from a summit in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, with a renewed demand that the party's flag bearer be picked from the southern part of the country. They also renewed the call for the immediate reconstitution of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) to ensure effectiveness, efficiency, and transparency if the interventionist agency must meet its mandate.
The 21st day of March 2022, stakeholders of the South-South Zone of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) met in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, and resolved as follows. The zone is worried on the prevailing state of insecurity across the country and calls for more concerted efforts to enhance the operational capacity of the security agencies. It therefore resolved that the zone reiterate its demand for creation of state police. The zone frowns at the continuous and unlawful violation of the Niger Delta Commission Act by the use of sole administrator in the management and running of the agency, and calls on federal government as a matter of urgency to immediately constitute the governing board. The zone also demands the forensic audit of NDDC be made public and implemented without further delay. The zone also is fully in support of the position of the Southern Governors Forum that the next president of Nigeria must come from the southern part of Nigeria. And of course, the zone commend the PDP governors of South-South for putting the region in the world map as hubs of development through their developmental projects being initiated and commissioned regularly.
A federal high court in Abuja this Wednesday fixed April 11 for judgment in a suit seeking the declaration of the seat of a House of Representatives member, Yakubu Dogara, vacant over his defection to the All Progressives Congress (APC) from the People's Democratic Party (PDP. Justice Donatus Okoronkwo, who fixed the date, said though the judgment was earlier scheduled for this Wednesday, it was not ready. The PDP had asked the court to remove Dogara, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, who is representing Das, Tafawa Balewa, and Bogoro Federal Constituency of Bauchi State for defecting to the APC. While the PDP and its Bauchi State Chairman Hamza Akuyam are the plaintiffs, Dogara, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Attorney General of the Federation, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the APC are first to fifth defendants, respectively, in the suit. Dogara had on July 24, 2020, defected from the PDP to the APC when he submitted a resignation letter to the chairman of the Bogoro C ward in Bauchi State. The plaintiffs, through their counsel, Jibrin, said by virtue of Section 681G of the Constitution, Dogara ought to vacate his seat as he was no longer qualified to partake in the activities of the lower house.